Good morning, welcome back to the vlog. Today we're doing a foodie video, recipe video, what I'm eating, what my family's eating, what my baby's eating, because this was highly requested when I asked all of you what you wanted to see over on Instagram. So, starting with what food we've got delivered for the week, our food shop basically. Every single week we get a Riverford delivery. If you've been here for a while, you know this already. I've been having Riverford for as long as I can remember, probably personally for like, I don't know, 6 years, maybe longer. And then I grew up with Riverford as well. My mum used to get a veg box every week. It's great because it's delivered, so it's easy. You can pick their seasonal veg box. This is their small vegetable and fruit box, seasonal fruit and veg box. And they have loads of different boxes that you can choose from that suit your family. And then they also have the option to buy extras. So I often buy extra mushrooms because I love them. Sometimes I'll get like chickpeas or tofu or a vegetable that I want that week for a specific recipe, but it just makes my life easier. And then we get a Sainsbury's delivery, which is coming at lunchtime. So that's how we do it. It makes my life easier. I used to go to the shops more in person, and I would like to introduce that a little bit more soon, like going locally shopping. But right now in this phase of life, getting the delivery is so easy. So in the box, I've got chestnut mushrooms, which I get every week because I just absolutely love mushrooms. I have them every day in my chickpea omelette. And also I love them on pizza. I love them. I just love them. Do I need to justify? Oh, they've sent wild garlic. I did forage some the other day and I made a focaccia in the last video. And actually, funnily enough, 2 of the recipes I'm making this week have wild garlic. So this might make those 2 recipes, but I also can just go pick up some more. But that's the kind of cool thing that they do. I love that, especially if you're someone who doesn't have wild garlic locally to you, because some of you have said that in my videos. Next we have purple sprouting broccoli, a great veg this time of year when it's a bit colder, but it's moving into spring. Purple sprouting broccoli is delicious. It was come with a little letter from, oh, this is from Hannah. Usually it's from Guy, and they have a recipe, so it's how to make vegetable stock, which is nice. I actually might do that, you know. We've got parsnips, courgette, cauliflower. I think I added the limes as extra. And then we have got red onion. It always comes with potatoes and onions, Alanis potatoes, and that is everything. So that's the veg box. I'll show you the Sainsbury's delivery when it comes. I don't know why I'm putting it back in the box. I need to put it in the fridge. While I wait for Sainsbury's to arrive, we're going to make some Easter cookies. Now I know it's close to Easter and I wish I'd got this recipe to you sooner or shown it to you sooner, but if you actually want to know my recipes as soon as they go live, sign up to my newsletter and also just bookmark my website because I upload recipes every week and they go up there earlier than maybe I share them. So we have got these vegan mini eggs. These are from Asda. They're the Mummy Meads Chicky eggs. If you're vegan, that's where I've got them from. If you're not vegan, you can just do this recipe with normal mini eggs and it will work just fine. That's the kind of vegan element. This cookie recipe is so good though. It really works so well as a vegan cookie recipe. You can also bake it in a tray if you want like a mini egg cookie bake rather than individual cookies. Very simple, very easy, and I'm craving them so badly, so we're gonna make these for the week. I do like to have a nice sweet treat for the week. Alex also makes a loaf of bread every week. So this is a wholemeal loaf. This is just a really simple recipe. I'll link it. We also have a whole ebook for our bread recipes and it's fail safe. Anyone can make this so easy, and I'll show you the result at the end. So this is proved twice, is it?
Yeah.
You just scored it. You're preheating the Dutch oven and then you pop it in and bake it for half an hour. And it's always
pretty good.
Perfect.
So this one's quite sticky though because it's wholemeal and I made it more hydrated. Where's my sticky green? Oh, that's sticky. It's not the best shape.
Oh well. How can you score it beforehand?
What do you mean?
Don't you score it inside there?
I find that to be a pain.
Oh. The ways of Alex's bread. He knows.
It looks more like a pasty now. Oh well, it tastes the same.
So we're going to start by creaming together vegan butter, and then caster sugar and brown sugar, light brown sugar. And then we can cream this together. You can do this by hand or with a food processor. Now we add vanilla extract. Oops. Then self-raising flour. And just a tiny bit of milk. Should come together in a lovely dough like this. But like I said, you can do this all by hand. You do not need a mixer. Obviously I'm going to use mine because it's easier. Then add in your chocolate chips and your mini eggs. I have roughly sort of chopped them. I just feel like it means you're not just going to get loads of lumpy mini eggs. Make the texture a lot nicer. But I have saved a small bowl so I can press them into the cookies once they are laid out or shaped, so that you have some mini eggs on top. And this is the equivalent of 2 of those mini egg bags, so it will be the equivalent, if you're using normal mini eggs, of just 2 sort of standard sized bags. And then we just gently mix these through. Dough should look a little something like this, and I'm just going to place this in the refrigerator for maybe like half an hour until it's cold. It just helps them to bake better and shape them better so that they're nice and the dough is nice and cool basically. I'm also going to freeze half of this, so this is a fun thing you can do. I'm gonna take half, freeze, and then on Friday I'm seeing friends so I can have some fresh cookies to bring with me, which is a really nice idea because this does make a really good amount of cookies. A bit in there. Darn it. It doesn't fit on a... I swear this used to fit on a shelf. I think I've put this shelf on wrong. There we go. We have our lovely loaf of bread. Can't wait to eat that later. Babe is not sleeping. It's like, this is the first week that Alex and I are back home and we're kind of trying to follow some semblance of a routine with when I'm working and when Alex is working, and then like whoever's the main parent for the day, essentially. I still have to parent, I still have to breastfeed and put her down because I'm exclusively breastfeeding her. But it's like she knew that today I had stuff to do. Anyway, our food shop's here, so let me show you what we got. We are experimenting with different milks because I'm trying to move away from Oatly. So we've got Califia Farms Oat Barista. I know this is good, I've already had it, but Alex ordered a few different fun ones. So we've got MoMA Barista Oat, we've got Alpro Barista Oat, and we've got Oddly Good Barista Oat. So I will report back this week because I'll try them during the week and let you know what I think. We've got 2 blocks of tofu. So we've got, this isn't chicken pieces, this is for pizza later in the week. Parsley, Violife mozzarella, love this on a pizza. I've been grabbing this more. They now do an organic sweet potato. This brand's called Packed, and they also do fruits. So this is really helpful on a day when you just don't know what to eat. Loads of avocados. Avocados are great for us and also Elowen. We've got lemons, organic lemons, and hummus. We always buy hummus. Spring onions. This is the pizza dough we buy. It's frozen and we just defrost it on the day, and it's so easy, and we have it every Friday. It's like the perfect thing to have. Some Greek style Violife, lemongrass for the curry paste, more chestnut mushrooms. These are little baby ones, that's cute. Like I said, I just adore mushrooms. I have them all the time. This isn't bacon. We pretend to always get a bacon for the weekend, and this is actually my favourite one. A top up of ginger. I put this in the freezer, life hack. More lemons, and then this little Oddly Good Dreamy Lemon pudding. This is so delicious. Alex and I love these. Why did we only get one? But the one thing I did get was a load of beans for Elowyn, because the bulb bean company are delicious, but they're in stock, which means they're salted. And when she's this little, she really shouldn't be having any salt. So these ones, the organic ones, are just in water. So we just picked up loads so we can have a variety, because that's the important thing for her at the moment, is variety and trying new things. So butter beans, cannellini beans, black beans, green lentils, kidney beans and chickpeas. So we've got the whole variety that I can just mush up with some avocado or have with some steamed vegetables. Some spaghetti, coconut milk, mango chutney because we'd run out, sun-dried tomatoes, spinach. I didn't show you this morning, but I made a lovely smoothie with some banana, mango and spinach and flax. It was so yummy. Shallots, little mini garlic breads, top up of tomato ketchup, leeks, silken tofu, rigatoni pasta, a celeriac because this is for one of my recipes, but also it's another one that she can try, and some pita bread. It's quite a big shop this week because of the fact that we've not been here, so we're kind of stocking up on a few things, but I'm going to put this all away and then we've got to make some lunch for Alex and I, and also little one. I'm not really sure what to make. Maybe some bread. This loaf didn't turn out as it usually does. I feel like maybe Alex was distracted. Usually it's got a better rise on that. I feel like he's done something here that's not quite right because his bread never looks like this. So I'm not really sure what happened there. Oh well. So usually the day that the food comes, we are finishing off leftovers. I'm trying to have it so that the things we're eating, she's having too, but that doesn't always work out perfectly. The last week has actually been pretty great at doing that. I'll give you some examples maybe on screen of the foods we've had. Because I think I've been filming and taking some pictures on my phone. The foods that we've had for lunch and things that she's been having. Things like when we've had sweet potato and some sort of beans, I've given her some beans with tomato. If we're having avocado toast, she's having some avocado mashed in with banana. I've just been trying to use the ingredients that we're having to match what she's having. Same goes for dinner. So for dinner this evening, we're having the tofu and purple sprouting broccoli recipe from my cookbook, and I'm going to cook up some purple sprouting broccoli for her separately and tofu, and she can have that maybe with some rice as well. She can have that as her meal, but it's not having to cook something completely separately. Today's leftover day, so it's a bit different. So actually, this is perfect timing for her to have eggs, because I mentioned in a previous video, we are introducing Elowyn to allergens. So she's going to be having eggs and dairy, so she'll be vegetarian, but it will only be introducing them maybe once a week so that she has had an allergen once a week for all that exposure, in case one day in the future she has it or she chooses to eat it. That's our choice as a family. We want to be kind of like plant-based with her. But I will link the video I talked about this more in depth if you want to know our thought process if you're similarly a vegan vegetarian family. But I'm going to have leftovers. She can have egg and peas because we've got frozen peas in the freezer. And I'm having leftover hummus, and Alex is going to make himself a sandwich. Right, so this has been in the fridge. I'm going to half it. I've already halved it. This is the other half. This is going to go in the freezer for Friday. And then we're just going to shape this. You can measure it if you really want to be particular about the size of the cookies, but I don't really care. They're just for us. Now you can squish them down. And now we can add the remaining little mini eggs on top just for extra. Makes it look pretty. And now we can just bake these delicious cookies in the oven until they're nice and golden. So this makes about 18 cookies, no, sorry, 16 cookies, or 18 if you want them smaller. Here they are straight out the oven, looking fabulous. Could have maybe done them on 2 baking trays, but you know, doesn't really matter to me the shape of them. Here's my lunch, leftover rice and chilli, and then there's a big dollop of hummus, about 1/4 of an avocado, and then loads of vegan cheese. She loves broccoli. And then we've got avocado mixed with about a teaspoon of egg. Straight into the broccoli, well done. And what we also do is we can like put the mash, the puree that you're using onto the finger food that you're giving your baby, if you're doing a mixture of both like us. I think this might be her favourite meal she's had ever. That's you can all that quickly. She is obsessed with broccoli and she's just scooped all of this up. Haven't you? You've caught me mid cookie eating. Couldn't resist. Look at them. They are like the ones you buy in the shops that come in the bags, but they're better. So whether you're vegan or not, you're gonna love these. And especially if you're vegan and you just don't get to buy shop bought cookies, these are gonna bring that level of nostalgia. And the mini eggs, the level of nostalgia, because these taste so much like mini eggs. They're kind of like a mini egg Smartie crossover, I would say. What happened to Smarties? Do they even exist anymore? Smarties used to be my favourite. I used to get them in the tubes. Oh, memories. I know there might have been an outfit change there. It was because I was filming a clip for Instagram. I don't like to double up my, well, I don't mind doubling up my outfits, but back to back, I feel like sometimes my outfits I like to be inspired by the recipe, and I felt like that yellow jumper was quite spring Easter themed. So we're back into this shirt because that was too hot. Anyway, we are making for dinner this recipe from my cookbook: tofu, coconut and purple sprouting broccoli. If you haven't seen me harp on about this, this is my brand new cookbook, A Year in a Cottage Kitchen. It is a seasonal cookbook, so we're starting off with spring and then it will go through all the way to winter. And I'm going to be sharing some recipes on the channel just so that you can see what the cookbook is about if you haven't got a copy yet. But it's perfect if you want to eat more seasonally, if you want to cook with more vegetables, enjoy more plants, and also if you love Cornwall and you love the kind of cottage lifestyle that I have here. Grab a copy, I'll leave a link below. But this recipe is really easy. You do make your own curry paste, but I think sometimes there's a misconception with curry paste being really complicated, and by all means you could use the principle of this recipe and buy a curry paste, but it's actually quite straightforward to make one. So let's get cooking. And fun fact, Alex just had to go to the shops because I thought I'd checked out on Sainsbury's. Well, okay, two things. I thought I had brought the spice tin back from the cottage in Newlyn here. I hadn't. And then I thought I'd added the spices that I needed to the basket on Sainsbury's, and I hadn't. So there's me messing up twice because I think my brain, tired mum brain, has had enough. Okay, so while we wait for Alex to come back, I'm just going to add everything else to the food processor that is in the curry paste ingredients. So we need a shallot, ginger, a red chilli, lemongrass, 2 cloves of garlic. We're waiting on the turmeric, zest and juice of a lime, some vegetable oil, a nice healthy bunch of coriander, and then salt and pepper. And if you want it to be spicier, just add more chilli. I kind of fancy it spicy, so I'm going to add an extra chilli. Alex is back. They did not have cumin seeds in Lidl, fun fact, so we're just going to have to leave out the cumin seeds and we'll just go with coriander, but add cumin seeds. And I've dry roasted them in the pan. And then half a teaspoon of turmeric. And you should have something that looks like that. Start by adding your onion, and then we can fry this for 10 minutes. Then add in your curry paste. If you prefer it less spicy or you want to like save some of the curry paste, you can just use half of it, and you can jar up the other half. Now add the coconut milk, chopped tomatoes, tomato puree, and brown sugar. Stir this all together. Bring to a boil. And then add in the tofu. Of course you can fry the tofu off before you do this. Both taste lovely. Now move this aside. I'm just gonna boil the purple sprouting broccoli. So here's mine and Alex's dish served up. I need to lay the table and get everything ready, and I'll show you what we made Ella in. So I'm just going to mash together some rice with the tofu first. I might add a bit of milk, some of my breast milk, into this. You can also blend. I'll try and mash a bit of this into it. I'm not sure the leaves are going to mash. Let's just try a bit of the broccoli. She's not really loving the mash at the minute. She just wants to eat the solid food, so we'll see if she'll actually eat this. And then we can add a few florets, which she is going to love. And I cooked these for longer than I cooked ours. And these are just the sticks of tofu. And you don't need to cook tofu, it's already cooked. You could fry it if you want to, just maybe they prefer the texture, but I feel like when she's this little, it being soft and crumbly like this will be quite beneficial for her.
Breakfast. She bolted inside, but she was kind of almost like doing a zigzag. She's like, where's the door, where's the door? The cloud running up the garden, you can't see her legs. So cute. You like the camera, don't you?
For lunch, we are making my tofu, leek and herb tart. I had to show you this photo because it's one of, well, you can't really see it. You can have to get the book to see it, but it was one of my favourite memories from when we shot this book because it was such a lovely day that day and we sort of got a lovely photograph of it sitting on the windowsill from outside. This recipe is yummy and perfect for this time of year. I'm going to use some short crust pastry and just quickly blind bake the pastry first. And then while you're cooking that, you can make up the filling and you use silken tofu, which is really great to kind of create that almost egg-like texture for this tart. I'm going to save a tiny bit for Elowen to try because she's not tried silken tofu. So we're going to take our short crust pastry. I'm going to pop this into my little flan dish. It's not the perfect size, but I'm not really that bothered because I'm making this at home, but obviously if you're making this for people that you care about what the finished result looks like, then you can of course get the block and roll it out. We're going to blind bake it. I'm just using some uncooked chickpeas, but if you have pie weights or baking beans, use those. And this can go in the oven for 10 minutes at 190 degrees Celsius. We've got 3 nice juicy leeks, which I'm going to slice. And then fry these off. Now the leeks are cooked, we can set these aside. For the base of the tart, I'm going to blend silken tofu. Oh, that's kind of gross and satisfying at the same time. Along with the juice of half a lemon. Every time I don't use a juicer, I think, why didn't I use a juicer? Because I get pips in here. Now we'll add this blended mixture into the pan with the rest of the ingredients. A pinch of ground turmeric is going to add a lovely colour. Nutritional yeast for lots of yummy flavour and B12. A load of yummy herbs, parsley and coriander. And then an optional extra is some kala namak. This is black salt and it does have like an eggy, sulphurous flavour, but don't worry if you don't have this. Just use sea salt and then of course some pepper. Stir this all, heat it through, and then we can transfer this into our pie. And now we can bake this in the oven for around 35 to 40 minutes until it's golden brown and set. For Elowen, I'm hoping that this blends, because it's going to be such a small amount. Might have to use the smaller one if this doesn't work. I've just saved a bit of the leeks, some silken tofu. I'm going to add a little bit of nutritional yeast for flavour, because she's not tried this before, and I feel like that's kind of fun. And I'm going to add a little bit of lemon for flavour, so she really is going to be trying what we're eating, just a different version. And I think she can have it with some of the broccoli as finger food. So there you have it. There it is. Nice little mixture for her that's not completely smooth, but fingers crossed she likes it enough that she's going to eat it. Now it's out the oven, you can see that it's got those big edges on it. We can trim those in about 10 to 15 minutes when it's cooled down a little. And I'm very protective of my worktops. Hence why I'm doing it on this oven glove, just in case. And here is Elowen's plate. So we've got leftover broccoli from yesterday, and then here is the blended silken tofu, nutritional yeast, cooked leeks, and a squeeze of lemon. Let's see how this goes down. I fear she may eat this and then just put her hands on this and not do anything with it, because that's what happened yesterday. Right, let's start with this maybe. Do you want to just have a mouthful of this? She has really gone off me feeding her. You hold it. Oh, straight for the broccoli. Let's taste this, shall we? Elowen is just looking at the broccoli. Probably about to throw it on the floor. It is dinner time and we're having leftovers. This is a really good portion size both times. And then Elowen is having the same again. I just made sure, I know that some people probably wouldn't do this, so just do what you want to do with your child. But I really properly reheated the rice, and then I've mashed it with new fresh tofu. And then reheated the broccoli and let it cool down. And yeah, let's see if she eats any more of this today.
Her favourite brand of mango chutney.
Wow. Like quite a lot of things. Talking. just won't do, will it? I'm just going to boil it. Can't be bothered with that rubbish. Yeah, dad, 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 ga, ga, ga. This is tedious, isn't it? The things I do for you, little one. Lunch is served, look at that. Here is today's lunch. I wanted to use the parsnips up and I actually had a craving for some kind of like parsnip chips, roasted parsnips in the air fryer. And then I've gone for like a butter bean, like creamy dish with some courgettes, some leeks, tahini, sun-dried tomatoes. If you ever like kind of think of a way to make a creamy sauce, I always have tahini in the fridge and it's so easy to make with lemon juice, tahini, some sun-dried tomato oil and sun-dried tomatoes, and nutritional yeast with a bit of milk, and it makes a lovely creamy sauce, especially if you use the stock from those beans. And I'm so excited to dig in. I just topped it with some parsley and basil. And then for Eloin, we have parsnip, courgette and butter bean mash with some parsnip sticks. I'm not really holding up much hope that she's going to eat this mash because she's kind of gone off the purees and the mash. But we'll give it our best shot. Good afternoon. I've been listening to such an interesting book called Hunt, Gather, Parent. So many of you recommended this book, I think when I was talking about toys, and I'm like 2 chapters in and I already want to like overhaul so many things that I think about parenting. It's so funny. I will give a review probably more when I've finished the book, but there's lots of like instinctual feelings I've had about parenting. Same as like the instinctual feelings I had around pregnancy, birth, breastfeeding, co-sleeping, but I've been having as she's gotten a bit older, and I have to think more about things like her development and toys and stuff and her future and how she's transitioning from a baby into a toddler. There's lots of instinctual feelings I've been having with this stage of parenting that are like kind of coming up in this book around essentially just how much we overdo it and how much the Western world of doing things when it comes to children is very strange and doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And I'm just so hooked. I'm so hooked. I'm so excited. You know, you start a new book and it's actually read by the author, which is always my favourite, and you're so excited to learn more. And I suppose because it resonates with me. When you find, I guess, like a parenting style, even in the past, things like when you find exercise that you enjoy or food that you love, or it's always reminding me of when Alex and I decided to go plant-based and vegan. Like kind of when something resonates and you're like, wow, this makes sense. That's how I'm feeling listening to this book right now. I was even talking to Alex yesterday about how I think our approach to sleep when it comes to babies is like, and sleep versus what we should be doing with them in the daytime is the wrong way round. We expect our children and babies to be independent with their sleep, put them in a cot, have them sleep away from us very early, very young, and have them independently nap and not nap on our chests and all of that kind of stuff. There's a lot of pressure to get your baby into a routine with sleep and to sleep well, quote unquote, and sleep through the night, the independence. And yet we are expected to entertain our children all day long and constantly be giving them toys and attention and almost like a lack of independence in the daytime. And it's so weird to me because I've always felt like it really should be the other way round, where you are really, really close with your children and babies and looking after them when they are little, when they're sleeping. So things like co-sleeping, bed sharing, contact naps, always being close to them, supporting them in their sleep and going with their needs versus other methods. And in the daytime, I feel like there should be more, I guess, when they get a bit older, of an approach of taking them along with you and doing things and getting them involved, rather than it being this thing that parents have to do. You have to constantly be entertaining your children. So it's almost like the independence should be built in when they're awake and when they're with you over when they're sleeping. And I don't know, I could probably hypothesize why it is that way around. A lot of things to do with the fact that we all work a lot and capitalism and how busy we all are. And there's lots of reasons for it being that way around. But I just find that interesting. And maybe some of you have opinions on this, because that's the other thing. This is all very like opinion based, and parenting is very individual to everyone. And I'm never going to be the person to judge anyone else for their parenting techniques, because I hate that. I find that so annoying. But I just find it interesting that it is that way around. And this is a food video for my family, what we're eating. So I thought, lots of you are parents here, and maybe you're going to have an opinion on this too, or experience on this if you have older children. Sound off in the comments. My little one is napping, so let's try and make dinner before she wakes up. Right, I need to get all the ingredients out. Right, so this hopefully should be a really nice and quick filo pie, because I didn't actually tell you this. I was supposed to do another recipe from my cookbook. Stupidly, I used the leeks at lunchtime. I looked at the recipe, I checked, I said, is there anything in this recipe that I need for dinner? Was there anything I'm gonna, is there anything that I need for dinner that I could potentially use right now? And I checked and I checked and I checked, and was convinced there wasn't, and then went to cook it for dinner and realised, oh yes, look, there's leeks. I did have a nice outfit on earlier, but then I spilt water all over my shirt and also pumped and leaked milk all over it. So I have given up and I'm wearing the biggest t-shirt known to man. And I can always guarantee I'm going to watch this footage back and say to myself, Maddie, why didn't you just get changed, because you look awful in that t-shirt? But I'm not going to, because I am overstimulated, and the only thing I can wear when I feel overstimulated is a ginormous cotton t-shirt or sweatshirt. Everything else I cannot deal with. We're going to add sun-dried tomatoes in a minute, so use some of that oil. Now I'm going to add a handful of wild garlic. You can just roughly tear this. Should smell amazing. Spinach. And then pop the lid on so it wilts. Now we have about 2 spinach leaves left. We can add apricots and sun-dried tomatoes, some vegan feta, pine nuts, some oregano, and lemon zest. And I'm now realising I completely forgot to save some spinach for Elowen. We've too far gone now, I think. Now I can give this season. Right, so grease a pan, and then we can layer up our, only issue is I've done that thing again where I've put this in the freezer, makes it a little bit harder to work with. Oh, this is not going to work, is it? Well, we can but try. Want to layer up your filo pastry baking tray, leaving plenty to hang over the edge, because this will create your like crinkle over the top. And then you can add your delicious rainbow filling. I'm not sure this is going to be very successful, but you want to bring all this in. It's all just cracked and broken. Oh yeah, what am I going to do? Well, you know what? This is life. Put a bit of this butter on top, and who the heck knows what this is going to turn out like in the oven. I'm going to cook this basically until it's pretty much cooked, and then it can just easily be reheated. Perfect timing because she's literally just waking up. Into the oven we go. Not my best work because all the filo is broken, but it will taste delicious still. Look at that, very pretty. Okay, so I've got some filo pastry pie, that's the word I'm looking for. I'm gonna have more than that, but I just dished out a nice portion. Alex has actually made himself spaghetti because he was craving it. And then for Elowen, she has had a little bit of spaghetti just because I want her to try it. Not sure how she's gonna handle that. Some mashed butter beans because I just thought maybe it's better to try it on its own, and then parsnips from lunch. So let's see how this goes. One of you also just recommended Solid Starts on Instagram. They've also got an app. I think you have to pay for it, but you can get 7 days free trial, which I'm gonna do, and I feel like 7 days should be able to educate me enough because she's not interested in the purees as much as she was. Maybe she's just naturally veering towards, why is it so dark? Lighting is bad. Anyway, maybe she's naturally moving towards the finger foods just as an instinct. I think babies tend to either prefer purees or finger foods, and it's like, I wanna go with her. So I might start to introduce solid foods over the purees, because also I find the purees a bit of a faff, to be honest with you. So we'll see. Let's see what she eats of this. I wanted to give a little bit of a background on what we're doing when it comes to weaning, if you're interested. So this was the book that I was lent by my sister called How to Wean Your Baby by Charlotte Sterling Reed. Really helpful book, I would recommend if you are starting weaning. There is a whole introduction all about textures, choking hazards, the combined approach, baby-led weaning, how to, like, when to know your baby's ready, allergens, so much information just to educate yourself before you begin weaning, which I think is really important. And then it has a kind of 30-day plan where it gives you a shopping list, and then it gives you a guide on what to feed your baby. So the first, I think 10 days is just individual foods every day, which we did before I started filming this. That's what we did first of all. And then the next 11 to 20 days, which is kind of the phase we're in now, it's kind of combining 2-3 things. Then after that phase, it's about building sort of mini meals, maybe introducing 2 meals or 3 meals and combining flavors. And then she's got kind of like a really nice little guide on portion sizes, finger foods, the complexity of the foods, as well as kind of offering ideas in terms of how to combine things. So where is this page? So lead with vegetables and some fruits, add some protein/iron, include some carbohydrates and add extra flavour. And then there's kind of a suggestion, which I just do now every time I'm thinking of her meals. This is definitely the next phase. Just for context, when you're watching this video, she's so early on to weaning, so obviously she'll be hopefully eating more variety and bigger meals, but this is the early days where she's just testing things. I want the, like, I guess the combination of giving her lots of different things every day, but also not making it so intense for me and for her that I'm having to give her new things every time. And that's kind of what I'm starting as I mean to go on. But it's really exciting getting my Riverford box and thinking, what seasonal vegetables can she try this week? What meals can we cook that we can share with her? Always combining it with protein. And the way I've done that is to get those little packets of beans, the little tinned beans, tofu, and then we are also supplementing it with eggs as well because we want to introduce her to that allergen. And then whatever carbohydrates we're having, and then I'm going to try in the future to add some flavour in there, so some spices and herbs to see what she thinks. So that's how I'm approaching it, but hopefully if you enjoyed this one, I can do an update like in a month or two and maybe she will have come a bit further. Definitely noticing that she's going off the purees and she is more interested in the finger foods. So I have followed an account called Solid Starts, which I know my sister recommended and lots of you guys recommended, which is all about solid foods and how to serve them to your baby at what age and what the benefit is of baby-led weaning. I think lots of babies tend to prefer finger foods or purees, or they like both. Just go with what you feel comfortable with and what your baby feels comfortable with. I think that I felt quite nervous about just starting with finger foods, but she has very quickly decided she will not let me feed her with a spoon. And she's definitely now going into the phase of basically throwing everything on the floor. We will just experiment and keep trying. I'm finding it fun. I'm finding it a little bit stressful cooking her foods and her just kind of not eating it and throwing it on the floor. It's very hit and miss sometimes, but I know it's all just part of the process because she's learning, and it's not just about her ingesting the food. It's also about her learning to pick things up, try different textures, the experience of sitting at dinner with us, and there's lots of things that come into it. But I'm with you if you're also finding it stressful, because it does. Me and Alex, sometimes watching her create a lot of mess, we are like, oh my goodness, it's so hard to remain neutral, but I'm trying so hard, and I know that that's so important for her to just allow her to do her thing basically, and she'll figure it out in the long run. I have kind of veered off this book now. I love the principles, I love the lessons, and now I'm kind of doing it and winging it by myself, making sure she's getting that variety and yeah, trying new things all the time. So I think I'll finish this vlog by sharing what she'll have for lunch, which actually did this fun thing the other day. One of you suggested to take your fresh kale, blend it in a food processor so it's chopped up like herbs. Genius, because kale is kind of difficult for them to eat. And then I thought I could freeze it. I put a little bit of water in there, so hopefully if I put this in the pan and I put a little bit of olive oil. So I think today I'm going to defrost a little bit of this and give her a chickpea omelette basically, because that's good for protein and something new to try. And also we just got some oranges, so I'm going to give that a go because we've not been giving her too much fruit yet. We kind of have led with vegetables, and now I think we can start adding some more fruit in there. Right, lunchtime, and I'm going to make her, oh, you dropped your maraca. I'm going to make her a chickpea omelette. I'm going to make a full-size one because, let's be real, she's going to chuck most of it on the floor. I pre-mixed this. This is besan flour and nutritional yeast. Alex is putting in a loaf of bread. And we usually put kalanamak or black salt in it, but I've left that out obviously so that she doesn't have salt. This just makes my life easier because we have this every day. So we pre-mix it and then we just I take out 40 grams-ish, and then you mix in water. Give it a whisk. I'm pretty certain this is going to be way too much, but I made the mistake of using my large ice tray. Next time I'll use a smaller one, but I'm going to just melt that in the pan and I'll halve it if it's too much, and then that can be the base of the omelette. Nice little bit of kale. It's actually, I think, a really good amount of kale because it's kind of reduced a bit, so I was thinking it was a bit too much. Oh, I've not whisked that very well. So then we can mix it in, and because she's little, we want to like get her used to bitter flavours, and it's just an omelette. So we'll make this, cut it into slices, and then I'm going to give her some orange. So here it is. The orange, I really struggled to get the like membrane or the pit off, and then we've got our lovely healthy green omelette, which I'm intrigued to see if she will like or eat. And that's how it's been going.